That's the voice.
There we
So
go.
officially, hello, welcome everybody to today's webinar. It's an inside look at Leadership Summit 2025. And presenting, we have the Leadership Summit team is here to present. I'm here for any technical questions, challenges you may have. So please reach out to me with a direct chat if you need any technical support. Otherwise, keep the chat selected to everyone, and everyone will see the questions and comments that you have, and the whole team will be able to answer those questions and others will see. So keep the chat selected to everyone. With that, Todd, would you like to get us started?
I would, Jeff. Thank you for that and welcome everybody. It's great to have you here. We're excited to be able to bring you Leadership Summit again in Chicago this year in February. Yeah, that's where we'll be. It'll be a great event. We're hard at work putting it together. So what we want to do today is spend just 30 minutes kind of going through what will the experience look like? Because I know many of you are probably here kind of going, should I attend? Is this, from a leadership perspective, is this something that would fit my needs and interests? So hopefully we can address a lot of those questions for you today. We'll have time at the end for Q&A. But I want to, kind of first of all, welcome, my guest today. I have Dr. Maria Church. She's the CEO of Government Leadership Solutions. They're going to be our key facilitators for the Leadership Summit this year, as well as the main facilitators for the Impact Group. And remember, the Impact Group is really focused on our mid to senior leaders. There'll be other groups joining us at the summit. It'll be Leaders Edge, which is our emerging group. So there's 45 individuals that will be attending. That session actually kicks off next week. So we're excited to have them. And then we have our chapter academy going on. That'll carry about 100 and some people that are leaders in our chapters. So everybody kind of comes together. In Chicago, we expect, about 400 of us at that event. So again, we're excited. I have Carrie Winter, Director of Events and Content Delivery of NIGP. You'll know her from your forum experiences as well. And then Tanya Parker, who is Vice Chair for our NIGP's Leadership Committee. So the gang's all here. So Tanya, I'm going to send it over to you because I know you had a couple opening comments you'd like to make.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. So good afternoon, everyone. And Leadership Summit is for you. So where are you in your career? What are your next steps? And are you ready? The NIGP Leadership Summit provides our members with the opportunity to explore and evaluate your current leadership skills and promote growth and development. The knowledge and experiences you have at the summit will drive you to excel in new and innovative ways and share these experiences with your teams when you return home. EDGE is intended to be the gateway in an individual's leadership journey, and the submersive program will ignite and inspire the leaders within members as individuals. Take it from me, EDGE is where it all began, and EDGE lights the match. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Impact. Impact is where you continue to build skill sets and ideas, and it's intended, again, as Todd mentioned, for mid to senior level public procurement practitioners, say that 3 times, while allowing us to emerge ready to lead and with a refreshed perspective on our leadership journeys, both right now and in the future. Impact takes the lighted match and starts to burn a fire. We also offer Academy, which supports our chapter's goals and provides new tools to take back and gain the support of your peers. So guess what? Now we are cooking on that fire that was lit by that match. As Vice Chair of the Leadership Development Committee, fondly referred to as LDC, we enthusiastically want you to get ready for a personal and professional transformational leadership journey at NIGP's Leadership Summit 2025. We know there is a leader within you. Now let's get cooking.
Thanks, Tanya. And I know leadership is close to your heart, right? Like you said, you've lived the experiences on your way as you've grown over the time with leadership. So I appreciate your leadership in the committee and then at the conference as well.
Thank you. I speak firsthand. I started in Leaders Edge Impact, and I wouldn't be here as part of LDC without the growth and development that everything has been fostered within IGP and my peers and that network. So thank you, everyone, for considering to attend Impact, and we look forward to seeing you in Chicago.
So before we go deep into the experience with Dr. Church, I want to just, Carrie, I know I get some emails, people are trying to look at, the details, right? And handle logistics as they look through budgets and scheduling. Can you give a little bit of feel, the high level schedule? I know food availability is a question I often get, but any kind of rundown on some of the logistics that individuals should be that would help them in their decision or as they get ready to come to Chicago? Bring
Yeah,
a
sure.
coat.
Sure. So basically, the schedule has shifted in different years, different times, start times, end times. So for this year, if you're planning to attend, you need to arrive in Chicago on Wednesday to be able to fully participate in the program. We'll kick off first thing Thursday morning with a breakfast, and we'll serve breakfast and lunch both Thursday and Friday. After breakfast, we'll have kind of a keynote, all three cohorts together with Dr. Church and her team. And then the individual groups will break out into their own individual breakout sessions. We will give you a break for lunch, and we will give you breaks throughout the day so that you have time to kind of decompress or network with your peers and that sort of thing. Thursday evening, we will have a reception, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. And then we wrap up Saturday right around noontime. So those of you who want to get out of Chicago in February on Saturday afternoon, you should be able to do that. So again, starting first thing Thursday, ending around noon on Saturday.
I do think it's important for people, right, Carrie, one, to be in on Wednesday, right? Because we start right off the bat on Thursday.
Yep.
But then also on Saturday, don't try to find, Chicago, I would assume, flights everywhere on the hour.
Right.
Kind of try to schedule those later in the day. You want to kind of drive all the way to 12:30. As you're making plans, take that into account for a little bit in the afternoon. But I'm loving the hotel. When we were in St. Louis, that hotel was pretty cool. The old train station. This one on Michigan Avenue.
Yes. Yeah.
The hotel looks beautiful, and we're in a big ballroom, the fancy, right?
Yes. Yeah. And to just go back to your point about flights or getting out of there. So there's two airports that you can choose from. There's Chicago Midway and there's Chicago O'Hare. They're almost equally in distance, but I would just recommend taking a look at the flights, availability, cost, that sort of thing, whatever you have to factor in. We did post yesterday on the hotel and travel page of the website for Summit that information so that you'll get an idea of what ground transportation is and distance and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, the hotel is pretty amazing. I know it's February in Chicago. I've attended a conference there in January. It is cold, but it is Chicago. There's a ton of things to do. The hotel is historic in nature. It opened in 1927 as the Stevens Hotel, as the largest hotel in the world. And it had 3,000 guest rooms, a barbershop, a pharmacy, a candy shop, a bowling alley, a movie theater. So it has a really great historic information, and there are places in the hotel where you can go and read about it. It has been obviously redesigned and updated to provide all of the amenities that we expect in the 21st century, right? They do talk a little bit about Kitty O'Shea's, and if you go out on the website, they talk about it, but it is an authentic Irish bar that's within the hotel. They sent staff over to Ireland to study what the hospitality was there, the food and all of that. So I encourage you either Thursday after our reception or Friday evening where you have a free night. You definitely check out Kitty O'Shea's. And of course, if you'd like to shop, we're on the Miracle Mile. So there's tons of shopping and restaurants and things to do in Chicago. So, plan accordingly.
And that's really, Carrie, a big part of it, right? The learning experience is a big part, but we want you all to be able to network. That's why we're bringing these different leadership groups together. We want to have, space to be able to have these conversations with Dr. Church and the facilitators, but your peers as well. So, the pubs and the restaurants, are there to really continue and do that deep dive learning. That's what this whole experience is about. Unlike where a conference is, you're going to session after session after session, we're doing deep dives during this time period. So I think that's a great location, Carrie. And what about the sorry, my monitor keeps flashing on and off for me, but so it's throwing me for a loop. But the Thursday night reception.
Yeah. So Thursday, it will be, we'll give you a reprieve after the last session ends. We'll bring you back into the ballroom, and we'll have a networking opportunity with all three cohorts, again for that evening, but also with our sponsors and our supplier partners that will be participating. We have several sponsors who make it possible for us to keep your registration fees fairly low, that help us cover some of our expenses. And we have several suppliers who have an interest in being there with you to talk to you about procurement and as in general, be part of the community. So we encourage you to attend that and visit those partners, talk with them. We can talk about leadership. We can talk about their products and services. Many of you may know most of these people. We have our NIGP Business Council folks represented, as well as several other suppliers. So, and we will feed you. It should be enough food to be considered as dinner, but I don't know, that fish and chips might be calling me at about 8:30 when it's over and heading down to Kitty O'Shea. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Carrie. Again, sounds like a great time and a lot of fun things to do. And Julie, I see in the comments here, snow question mark. I don't know if you're from a warm weather space, but
be prepared for the possibility.
Yeah.
And make sure you have boots and a coat. So that is recommended, definitely.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. But so, kind of turning our attention now to, the experience, because we are, changing up the experience. So Dr. Church, your group is handling the facilitation for the summit this year. Can you just talk a little bit about Government Leadership Solutions and the other facilitators that are joining you, and why you're excited about facilitating in the experience?
Yeah, sure. My pleasure. But first of all, I'm just, Carrie had me a candy shop, first of all, and then the Kitty O'Shea's, it's like done deal. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I might be joining you. Get a big table, Carrie, for those fish and chips. Yes. So Government Leadership Solutions, we have been working with local and state governments now for several years. If we took our team and collectively added our years, we're well over 100 years of our experience in working with state and local governments. We love local gov. We love our procurement professionals. We've worked very many times with various procurement departments throughout the country. And we just love the fact that y'all are relationship builders. And so we really want to take that vibe of relationship building and really leverage that in the learning experience. I'll be joined with two other facilitators from Government Leadership Solutions, or GLS, which is much easier on the tongue to say. And again, lots of varied experience. Myself, I started my career in local gov. I went over to the other side. I worked for a Fortune 500 company for many years. And then when I launched the consulting firm, it was not a hard decision for me to go back to my peeps, because I love the way y'all show up for work. You show up with your heads and your hearts together, and that's a powerful combination. When I was in corporate America, I would see that on occasion, but that wasn't the masses like it is in the work that we do serving the public. So I love the way you show up. So I can't wait to spend a couple days with you. Mason Claire, who is one of our senior consultants, has also varied experience. She worked on Wall Street early on in her career, with leadership development for a Fortune 50 company, transferred to Chicago. So she's going to be back in her old stomping grounds for a couple of days. And she keeps saying it's going to be cold outside, but it's going to be warm inside. And I love that thought. It's going to be very warm inside. And so she most recently was at the City of Phoenix and worked in the City of Phoenix for many years in leadership development. So she both has, again, the private and the public sector side. She's worked in local gov for quite a while. We're real lucky to have her, and you're real lucky to be able to spend some time with her as well. Trish Cordes, who is also joining us, a great consultant as well. She is everything HR. So if you've got people questions, HR questions, she'll probably be at, is it Kitty O'Shea's? She'll probably be there in the evening too. So feel free to pick her brain on anything people related as well. We are in the midst of planning. We're so excited. In fact, Jeff, you did, or Todd, you didn't know this. We just met yesterday afternoon. We were looking at our 3 workshop curriculums, drafting the workbook, and we couldn't be any more excited. It's just so funny that, you know, we do this kind of work every day, and yet we still get excited about, you know, planning to be able to spend time with you all. What I love about working with Todd and Carrie and Tanya is that this experience is really going to be unlike a typical conference experience, as you were saying, Todd, where you're just going, you know, from one breakout to another every 60 minutes. We've got you for full workshops. And I am really happy about that, because in our workshops, you're going to have the opportunity to roll up your sleeves and really work these 3 areas that really, for transformation, will help you with any transformation that you're looking for in your department, whether it's a department of 1 or whether it's a department of 100. And these 3 areas are so crucial for your leadership success. And that is culture, organizational culture. You know, we know that across the board, there's not a whole lot of differentiation in salaries and benefits when we're in public serving organizations. They're all pretty close in salary and benefits. So the differentiator is our organizational culture. And, you know, let's face it, that we're there 8 to 10 hours a day. And so that culture becomes really important, not just for attracting and retaining the people that you want, but also really, really important for productivity, for morale, you know, for showing up with the best you possible. And so the organizational culture is really key to a lot of success, especially for you as a leader. And so we're going to be talking about organizational culture, looking at like peeling back the 7 layers of culture and understanding what those are and how can you influence and impact those. And so it's not just theoretical. Like I said, we're rolling up our sleeves and we're working, and we're going to invite every single participant in every one of these 3 areas to show up with 2 perspectives. 1, to be an active participant. And we can pretty much guarantee that's going to happen, because we'll be behind you, lighting that fire for that participation and inviting you to participate a lot. The other perspective is that we want you to really look at what can you take back to your teams and rinse and repeat. So 2 different perspectives, and we'll remind you about that when we're together in Chicago as well. Now, the second area of focus is going to be on change leadership. You know, we've talked a lot about change over the years, change management. Y'all have probably attended different workshops or webinars on that. This focus is going to be on leading change, not just managing change. And so there's some different tools and strategies that you can leverage to really feel empowered to lead change, not only in your department, but to also be a change leader in your organization. So I'm really excited about that one. And then the third area is strategic planning. Who was it? Benjamin Franklin that said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I love that quote, even though I messed it up, because it really is so key in being very intentional about your work. You know, the more that we have a plan, the more empowered we feel, and the less kind of mental energy we have to give to it, because we've got our plan. And so we know then what is our North Star? Where do we need to go? What do we need to follow? And what do we need to accomplish? So May is our strategic planning queen, or diva, depending on the day, is her nickname around our office space. And she's going to break it down and really give you the strategies that, again, you're going to be able to rinse and repeat with your teams. So, and you're going to be able to be a powerful voice at your organization's overarching strategic plan as well. So we're really so excited, Todd, about these 3 areas. And these are 3 areas that are actually our 3 favorite topics to talk about. So you get that extra sort of enthusiasm because we love, we eat, drink, sleep, dream this stuff. And so we just can't wait to enter into these conversations and share these strategies and practice these strategies and try some of these on for size.
Yeah, and thank you for that overview. And right, Tanya, we've spent quite a bit of time as a committee really taking a look at what are the challenges being faced by procurement leaders, right? And these were the 3 big topics. So again, that's what we want to bring to everybody, are those 3 key topics. That's what's happening. Those are the challenges that you as procurement professionals are facing. So as Dr. Church mentioned, this isn't 2.5 days of theory. We're gonna, as they say, move your cheese around a little bit.
Oh, we're shredding that cheese, Todd. We're making fondue. Yeah.
Yeah, making fondue, get you, learning happens when you're when you're out of your comfort zone. So we want to kind of pull you out of your comfort zone, right? It'll be a safe environment, right? Don't want to scare you off there, but it's a safe space, but it's a place where you can challenge. As senior leaders, right? Mid to senior leaders, we want you to be a part of that discussion. What are you doing to solve these challenges? So we're anxious to hear from you. That's why we're breaking it up into these workshops. So they'll be smaller, think of them 75 to 100 people each. You'll be able to go down, deep discussions. You'll have worksheets and, Dr. Church, takeaways that you can apply back into the workforce when you get back on the job. So those are some things, that's why we're moving you right into the workshops right away. We will still get together in the mornings. We'll all come together in the morning after breakfast, for an hour and a half. All 400 of us will have a deep dive discussion on a universal topic. But then again, the impact cohort will go in and have, a lot of time in these sessions. And then, obviously the time for lunch to be able to kind of take a breather and then have deeper conversations. So we're excited about the new structure because, Carrie, this is the 3rd time for Leadership Summit in this format. So we have changed it up. And I think the big thing to remember too is that if you attended Summit in the past, it's not the same summit. Every year it changes. We're trying to, it's something that we really want people to build into their leadership development plan every year, because each year we're going to change it up because issues and challenges change. So
Yeah, Todd, that feedback
all
was
new.
really important, to listen to what is needed, what's current, what's accurate, how do we address those needs, and having the ability. This really sets leadership development apart in this summit, because you'll have an opportunity to have those smaller conversations that you just are not able to do at forum. So it's just a different submersive experience. You got to be there.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. And just again with the format, just keeping an eye on our time, because that 30 minutes seems to go by really quick. We will have from the impact group, you'll have 2 virtual sessions that will take place prior to the February in-person meeting. They're scheduled in January and February. I don't have the exact dates in front of me, but Dr. Church, any kind of comment on what those sessions will really look like? We have 2 going in, then we have 1 afterwards. Any kind of comments?
Yeah,
on that?
absolutely. We want to start the learning as early as possible. And so one of the sessions is going to be focused on leading change. And so what we want to do is we want to share with you in that pre-session before we're actually all together in Chicago, the virtual session, we want to share with you some really important data around leading change. And you probably will be a little bit surprised, maybe not. And what we want to do is be able to help build that business case around why leading change and being so empowered to lead change and not just manage change, but to lead change and facilitate it, why that's going to be so key for you for really being successful in any sort of transformation that you're looking to see within your department and even within your organization. So that's going to be really focused on that preliminary, why is this even important to us?
Yeah.
So we'll play with that a little bit and share some data. And then the other one is going to be around organizational culture. So again, we want to start inviting you to get into the pool, dip your toes in and start, swimming around with us around some of these concepts. And we may give you a little bit of homework before we actually are all together in Chicago. But it won't be anything painful. I can promise you that. It's going to be stimulating. So that's just a little bit of some of the pre-stuff, some pre-work before we actually get there and roll up our sleeves and have some fun together.
Yeah, thanks. And so that gives you guys, it seems like a pretty quick look at what the summit has in store for you. Great packed 2.5 days, ability to network with your peers, learn deep dive information. I think that pretty much gives you, I'm just trying to look at my notes, a really good rundown of what to expect. I see some kind of notes in here. The session will be recorded. It'll be available to you. You won't have to pick between the workshops. All 3 of them are timed out, so you'll attend all 3 of them. We'll have materials for you there. You'll have learning journals brought to you. And then I think, Dr. Church, we're creating some materials that you'll take away with you. But as you're on if you're looking at Summit and you're still kind of wondering, does it fit? Is this the right thing for me? Before I ask the panel, but please feel free to reach out to me. You have my contact information, right? It's just tslater@nigp.org. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. Happy to jump on a call, have a conversation. But Dr. Church, any last minute, for somebody that's kind of wondering, is this for me in my space? Any thoughts?
Yeah,
Tanya,
so
I ask you at the
to
same time.
answer that question, Todd, I'm also going to say that everybody will have an opportunity to go to all 3 of these sessions. These are workshops, and we're going to have you rotating around so everyone will be able to get into every one of these 3 in impact. Why do you want to go? Because you're a leader and the learning never stops. In my own organization, in our budget, outside of payroll, learning and development is our largest line item. So we walk the talk as well. We never fully arrive as leaders. We continuously need to grow, evolve, and sharpen the saw. So I would say absolutely. If you are a leader in your organization, senior leader or mid-level leader, you need to be here. This is a perfect opportunity for you to sharpen the saw.
Tanya, any thoughts from your perspective?
Yeah, your leadership skills are going to be noticed right away. I can tell you from personal experience, the 3-year growth from my start in the EDGE program to now has been explosive. In addition, if you have cessation planning as part of your office plan, it's so important to be participants in the Leadership Summit because it's going to prepare you for those next levels. Maybe you're not looking to grow right now, but that's a 2, 3, 4, or 5-year plan. Leadership Summit is exactly what you need to get prepared for your next roles. And if not, maybe you're comfortable where you are. Let's break that up a bit and get you elevated to the next level so that you're ready to inspire and, encourage your team to move in new directions.
Well, thanks, Tanya. And thank you, Dr. Church and Tanya and Carrie and Jeff, and for all your help in putting this together. Thank you all for attending. I'll hang on. Jeff, if you want to kind of pause the recording, but I'll hang on for a little bit longer. And if you have questions, we're happy to talk to you a little bit more, but we hope to see you all in Chicago in February.